Have you ever been stopped by someone who couldn't believe your age? Maybe it was a stranger at a coffee shop, a coworker you've known for years, or even a friend who swore you looked a decade younger than you actually are. At first, it might feel like just a compliment, a nice thing to hear on a day when you're feeling tired or worn down. But then, after the initial shock wears off, you start to wonder, what's going on here? What if there's something deeper behind that comment? What if it's not just about good genes or a miracle skincare routine? What if there's actually something happening on the inside of you? Something about your mindset, your emotional resilience, your choices, that's allowing you to look younger than you really are? Think about it for a second. Have you noticed how some people, no matter how old they are, seem to age differently than others? There are those who go through life's toughest challenges, heartbreaks, betrayals, financial struggles, personal losses, and yet, when you look at them, they still seem to carry an energy that doesn't match their age. They don't have the sagging skin, the deep lines, the tired eyes that are often associated with the stresses of life. You know the kind of people I mean. Maybe they're in their 40s or 50s, but they have this vitality, this spark about them that makes them look like they're still in their 20s. You think, what's their secret? And it's not just about the way they look. It's how they carry themselves, how they interact with the world. They seem ageless, not because of what they do to their skin, but because of what's going on inside their hearts and minds. What if I told you that the secret isn't just in what we do on the outside, that it's actually tied to something much deeper, something hidden within us all, something that starts in the way we think, in the way we handle stress, in the way we deal with life's challenges? Because here's the thing. There are distinct psychological traits that can make us appear younger, and those traits have nothing to do with a quick fix or a magic anti-aging cream. They're rooted in how we choose to live. And what's incredible is that these traits are based on a philosophy that's been around for centuries, one that's as powerful today as it was when it was first written. I'm talking about Stoic philosophy. Now I know what you're probably thinking. What does ancient philosophy have to do with looking younger? Well, it turns out quite a lot. The Stoics taught that our mind has an immense influence over our body, far more than we realize. They believed that how we respond to the world around us, how we manage our emotions, how we handle life's hardships, these things shape not just our mental state, but our physical appearance too. Sounds pretty wild, right? But it's true. When you start applying Stoic wisdom to your everyday life, you'll notice changes, not just in how you think or feel, but in how you look. In this video, I'm going to reveal 7 hidden secrets that might explain why you look younger than your age. And no, it's not just about genetics, and it's definitely not about the latest wrinkle-reducing serum. These are deep psychological traits that will help you unlock the kind of timeless vitality that comes from within. If you've ever been told that you look younger than your age, or if you've ever wondered what it would take to stop feeling like you're aging faster than you should, then you're in the right place. Before we jump into the first secret, I want you to take a moment and think about your own life. Have you ever experienced a stressful time in your life where it felt like everything was falling apart? Maybe you've been through a breakup, a tough financial season, or just the daily grind of dealing with life's challenges. How did you handle it? Did you let that stress take over, or did you find a way to rise above it? What about the people around you? Those who handle stress with grace, who remain calm in the face of adversity. I bet you've noticed that they seem to handle aging a bit differently, don't you? These secrets I'm about to share aren't just theoretical. They're practical, they're actionable, and they could make all the difference in how you age, not just in your appearance, but in your spirit. So make sure to hit that like button and subscribe, because I'll be sharing more life-changing content like this that you won't want to miss. Now let's dive right into the first secret. I want to take a moment and ask you something. Have you ever noticed how some people seem to age so gracefully? You know the ones I'm talking about, the ones who've been through some serious life challenges, but still look years, maybe even decades, younger than their actual age. Maybe they've gone through the kind of heartbreak that would break most people, or they've had their fair share of financial setbacks, or maybe they've had more personal losses than anyone should have to handle. And yet, when you look at them, you see this radiance, this youthful energy that seems to defy their years. And you can't help but think, what is their secret? I used to wonder this too. I'd meet people who were older than me, people who had clearly been through more than I could imagine. But there was something about them, their presence, the way they carried themselves, the way their face seemed to stay so youthful, no matter what life had thrown at them. It wasn't just about how they looked on the surface. It was about how they felt on the inside. They had this unbreakable spirit, this core of resilience that protected them from the weight of the world. And it made me think about something bigger, something that could actually be the reason some people age so differently than others. Because the truth is, the way we respond to life, the way we deal with stress, the way we handle our emotions, these things shape more than just our moods. They shape our physical appearance too. When we're young, we don't think much about how stress affects our body, but it does. And it doesn't just affect us mentally. It shows up in our skin, in our posture, in the way we walk through life. Stress is the silent killer of youth. It doesn't just age us emotionally, it ages us physically. You know what I mean, right? Have you ever noticed how someone who's always stressed out seems to look worn down, maybe even older than they are? Their face is tense, their shoulders are hunched, their eyes are tired. And it's not just in the way they look, it's in the way they carry themselves. It's the heaviness they give off, the lack of energy that comes from a mind constantly overwhelmed by worry. Now contrast that with someone who has that unbreakable spirit. Someone who goes through life's toughest storms, heartbreaks, financial struggles, personal losses, but still seems to come out of it with a glow, with a resilience that's visible in every step they take. The reason they seem to defy aging is because they figured out something critical: how to master their emotions. Instead of letting their emotions master them, they've learned how to navigate through life's challenges without allowing it to destroy their peace. They understand, deep down, that stress isn't just some minor inconvenience. It's a physical force that can literally age you. They don't let stress steal their joy. They let it pass through them, acknowledge it, and then let it go. Think about it for a second. When life punches you in the gut, when things aren't going the way you planned, when you're feeling like the weight of the world is on your shoulders, how do you respond? Do you let it eat you up? Do you let it drain you until you feel like you're just going through the motions? Or do you keep going, finding a way to rise above it, to push through even when it feels impossible? That's the difference between those who seem to age gracefully and those who don't. People who age well know how to keep moving forward despite life's hardest challenges. They find a way to laugh in the face of adversity, even if it's through tears. They don't let life break them. They might bend, they might stumble, but they never stay down for long. And that leads us to a key point here: resilience. It's not about being perfect or not feeling the weight of stress. It's about how you respond. There's a big difference between someone who feels weighed down by the world and someone who carries their struggles with dignity, who moves through the world with an unshakable resilience. You've seen it, right? Those people who, no matter what life throws their way, seem to come out of it with a little more strength and a lot more wisdom. That's resilience at its finest. But here's the thing. Resilience isn't just some mystical trait that only a select few possess. It's something we can all develop. It's something that comes from within us, and it's something we can actively work on. Resilience isn't about being tough in the traditional sense. It's about being adaptable. It's about accepting that life will have its ups and downs. And rather than letting those downs crush you, you choose to adapt. You learn from them, you grow, and you keep going. And as you do that, you start to see your stress levels lower, your sense of peace rise, and yes, your youthfulness returns. When I first started diving into Stoic philosophy, I was struck by how much it aligned with this idea of resilience. The Stoics believed that we can't control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond to it. Marcus Aurelius, for instance, taught that external events shouldn't disturb our inner peace. If we could cultivate control over our emotions, not letting them dictate our actions, then we could live a more fulfilling life and age more gracefully too. Think about it. Stress doesn't just make you feel older, it makes you act older. It steals your energy. It makes you feel tired and drained all the time, and it starts to show on your face. When you're constantly worrying about what's going wrong, when you're consumed by anxiety, you carry that energy with you. Your body tenses up, your muscles get tight, and your face starts to harden. But the people who have mastered their emotions, who have learned to remain calm in the face of adversity, they carry a lightness with them. They have a certain glow, like they know something you don't, like they've cracked the code to staying young. And here's the thing, you don't have to be perfect at this. You don't have to have it all figured out. Life is always going to throw curveballs. But if you start to cultivate resilience, if you start to train your mind to handle stress with a bit more grace, you'll notice the difference not just in your emotional state, but in your physical appearance too. It's not about how much you suffer, it's about how you handle that suffering. And the people who handle life's challenges with poise and resilience are the ones who, against all odds, seem to stay forever young. Now let's switch gears for a moment and talk about another powerful tool when it comes to staying young: embracing change. You've probably met people in their 50s or 60s who seem to have an energy about them that most people half their age would envy. They've been through the ups and downs of life, and yet they remain vibrant, full of curiosity and excitement about the world. What's their secret? It's simple. They embrace change. When we're younger, change feels like an adventure. It's exciting. We look forward to what's next. But as we age, it's easy to get stuck in our ways. We get comfortable in our routines. We become resistant to the unfamiliar, and the thought of changing anything in our lives can feel overwhelming. The reality is, stubbornness and resistance to change are some of the fastest ways to age, both mentally and physically. When we resist change, we resist growth. And without growth, we start to stagnate. We get mentally rigid, emotionally stuck, and that's when the stress and frustration start to take their toll. But those who stay young, truly young, in spirit and energy, are the ones who welcome change. They understand that life is full of twists and turns, and rather than fighting it, they choose to embrace it. They adapt, they evolve, and they grow. They remain curious. They seek new experiences. They take on new challenges. And the beauty of it is that this mental flexibility doesn't just make them feel younger, it makes them look younger too. Here's the kicker. When we're open to change, when we allow ourselves to grow and learn new things, we keep our minds sharp. We stay engaged with the world around us. We don't become stagnant. And science shows that this mental stimulation, this constant learning, helps to slow down the aging process, not just mentally, but physically too. People who continuously learn, who pick up new hobbies, who seek out new ideas, have better cognitive function, healthier bodies, and yes, more youthful appearances. It's not just about the wrinkles or the gray hairs. It's about the energy you carry with you, the curiosity that drives you, the willingness to embrace new experiences, and the ability to stay adaptable in a constantly changing world. And those who have this kind of mindset, who are open, flexible, and curious, they defy the very idea of getting older. They prove that age is just a number. So the next time you feel yourself resisting change, the next time you find yourself saying, I'm too old for that. Or, I'm stuck in my ways. Remember this. That mindset is the thing that will age you. The moment you let go of that resistance and embrace the unknown, you'll feel younger, lighter, and more energized. And who knows? You might just start looking younger too. Resilience and embracing change. Two powerful secrets that, when combined, can transform the way you age, mentally and physically. And I promise you, it's not just wishful thinking. You have the power to cultivate these traits, to build them into your life. And in doing so, you'll unlock the kind of vitality and energy that defies your age. I want you to think for a moment about something that seems so simple, but has a massive impact on how we age: curiosity. It's funny how something as basic as being interested in the world around us can have such a profound effect on how young we feel and look. Have you ever met someone who, despite being in their 50s, 60s, or even older, still has the energy and enthusiasm of someone half their age? I'm talking about the kind of person who can walk into a room and light it up with their presence. Their energy is contagious, and there's just something about them that doesn't seem to match their age. And I'm not just talking about their appearance, although they probably look younger than their age too. It's more than that. It's how they speak, how they interact, how they approach the world with a kind of wonder that most people lose as they get older. What's their secret? It's their curiosity. This is where things start to get really interesting, because we tend to think of youthfulness as something that's tied to how we look: smooth skin, no wrinkles, bright eyes, and so on. But real youth starts in the mind, not the body. The truth is, the moment we stop being curious about life, we start aging. And I don't just mean physically, I mean mentally and emotionally too. The more we close ourselves off to new ideas, the more we stop asking questions, the more we become set in our ways and routines, the faster we begin to feel old. It's like the moment we stop learning, we start losing something essential. We begin to lose that sense of wonder and excitement that makes us feel alive. But when we stay curious, when we're constantly seeking out new things, new experiences, new knowledge, we keep our minds sharp, and that energy shows up in the way we look and feel. It's like when you meet someone who's always trying new hobbies, who's eager to learn something new every day, or who loves to travel and explore different cultures. There's something about them that just radiates vitality. It's not just because they're always busy, it's because their minds are engaged. They don't let themselves become complacent or stagnant. They don't let themselves grow old in their thinking, and as a result, they don't grow old in their bodies either. Think about the elderly people you've known who have that sparkle in their eye, the ones who seem genuinely excited about life. They're not just coasting through the years, they're living them. And it's not because they're lucky, it's because they never stop being curious. They never stop learning. They're constantly growing, expanding their horizons, challenging themselves, and staying open to new possibilities. That's a huge reason why they seem to defy age. And I'll tell you, when you begin to cultivate that same kind of curiosity, when you make it a point to seek out new experiences, challenge your beliefs, and remain engaged with the world around you, you'll notice a shift. Your whole energy changes. You'll feel younger, lighter, more connected to the world around you, and it will show in the way you look. So how do we tap into this curiosity? Well, it doesn't have to be as grand as traveling the world or taking up a new hobby every week. It can be as simple as paying attention to the small details of life, the way the seasons change, the way people around you think and feel, or even just asking yourself questions about things you take for granted. Have you ever just stopped and wondered why people act the way they do? Or what makes a certain piece of art or music so special? Or how a single act of kindness can ripple through the lives of others? When we start to ask questions, we get our minds working. And when our minds are working, we're actively engaged in the process of growth and discovery. And growth, as we know, is one of the best ways to keep ourselves young. But curiosity alone isn't enough. There's something else that really ties into this idea of staying young and vital, and it's the ability to express ourselves fully. I want you to think about the people you know, maybe even yourself, who tend to bottle up their emotions. The ones who never let their guard down, who always seem to keep everything inside. Over time, this emotional suppression takes a toll. It's like we have this inner pressure cooker inside us, and when we don't let the steam out, eventually something has to give. And what usually gives is our health, our physical health, our mental health, and yes, our appearance. I'm sure you've seen it before. You meet someone who looks older than their age, and you can almost feel the weight of their emotions. It's like their face is carrying the weight of every unspoken word, every suppressed feeling. Their shoulders are hunched, their eyes are tired, and there's a heaviness in their presence. It's because emotions aren't meant to be trapped. When we suppress our feelings, whether it's sadness, anger, joy, or frustration, we create tension in our bodies. And that tension shows up on our faces, in our posture, and in our energy. Years of not expressing yourself, of holding everything in, will make you look and feel older than you are. But here's the good news. There's another way. When we allow ourselves to fully express our emotions, when we let ourselves feel what we feel and release it, we free up our energy. We stop holding on to all that internal tension, and we give ourselves the space to breathe, to heal, and to move forward. Think about someone who isn't afraid to laugh deeply, cry openly, or speak their mind honestly. There's something incredibly youthful about them, isn't there? It's because they're emotionally free. They don't carry around the weight of suppressed emotions, and as a result, their bodies don't carry that weight either. I remember meeting someone a few years ago who was in their 60s, but they had this incredible energy. When they spoke, they did so with enthusiasm, with clarity, with a sense of joy that made you feel like anything was possible. I later found out that this person had gone through some incredibly tough times in their life, loss, hardship, challenges that would have been enough to make anyone bitter. But they had learned the importance of expressing their emotions. They didn't bottle things up. If they were angry, they expressed it. If they were sad, they let themselves feel it. And in doing so, they were able to move on, to heal, and to keep living fully. This kind of emotional release is incredibly powerful when it comes to staying young. When you allow yourself to feel, to express, to release, you make space for your body to repair itself. You stop carrying the emotional weight that makes you feel exhausted, stressed, and aged. And that releases the tension in your body, which, you guessed it, helps you look and feel younger. This might seem like a small thing, but it's huge. When you stop holding on to the past, when you stop suppressing your emotions, you stop aging yourself prematurely. Instead, you're free to be yourself, to live fully, to embrace life's ups and downs without letting them define you or wear you down. And let me tell you, this kind of freedom will make you feel like you're looking at life through a younger, more vibrant lens. So if you want to look and feel younger, it's not just about having good genes or good skincare. It's about being curious, staying emotionally expressive, and letting yourself live fully. The more we engage with the world around us, the more we allow ourselves to feel deeply and honestly, the more we unlock the true secret to agelessness. And the best part? This is something anyone can cultivate, something you can start doing today. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment to be curious or to express yourself. It's about making the choice every day to stay connected to the world, to your emotions, and to your true self. So the next time you feel the weight of life's stresses or find yourself falling into a routine that feels a little too comfortable, remember that your mind and body are connected. The more you stay curious, the more you express yourself, the more you allow yourself to grow, the younger you will feel, and yes, the younger you will look. This is the power of curiosity and emotional freedom. This is the path to staying young inside and out. You've probably heard the saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with." But have you ever really thought about it? What kind of energy are you surrounded by? Because honestly, it's not just the people you hang out with. It's their energy, their mindset, and their emotional state that can either lift you up or drain you. Think about the last time you were in a room full of positive, uplifting people. How did you feel afterward? Energized, inspired, maybe even a little lighter, right? It's like their enthusiasm and positivity were contagious. You felt good just being around them, like their good vibes rubbed off on you. Now contrast that with a time when you were around people who were constantly negative. Maybe they were complaining about life, always seeing the glass half empty, or talking about everything that was wrong in the world. How did that feel? I'm guessing it wasn't nearly as uplifting. In fact, you probably felt a little drained, maybe even heavier, as though their negativity was pulling you down. It's exhausting, isn't it? And here's the kicker. That energy, that emotional atmosphere, is affecting your body too. It's not just your mood, it's your physical health, your appearance, and even your overall sense of well-being. Think about it. If you're constantly surrounded by negativity, whether it's from friends, coworkers, or even family members, it takes a toll on you. Your body can't help but react to it. Stress levels rise, your immune system weakens, and over time, you start carrying that negativity in your face, your posture, and the way you move through the world. Stress hormones like cortisol get elevated, and we all know that too much cortisol can lead to wrinkles, dull skin, and just an overall tired appearance. When you're around negative energy all the time, it doesn't just make you feel bad. It literally starts to show in the way you look. But here's the flip side. What happens when you surround yourself with people who inspire you, who bring joy and positivity into your life? How does that affect you? Well, think about it. When you're around positive, uplifting people, you feel lighter, right? You feel like you can take on the world, like you have a renewed sense of purpose and energy. And it's not just about the way you feel, it's about the way your body responds too. When you're in a positive environment, your stress levels decrease, your energy increases, and you begin to feel younger, more vibrant, and alive. And that energy shows up in your appearance. You walk taller, you smile more, and your face lights up with that youthful glow. You're radiating good vibes because your environment is feeding you good energy. And let's not forget, the people you surround yourself with don't just influence your mood in the moment. Over time, their influence starts to shape your entire outlook on life. You start to take on some of their habits, their mindset, and their emotional resilience. When you're constantly around people who are resilient, who rise above life's challenges with grace and optimism, it rubs off on you. You start to adapt that mindset. You start to see the world in a more positive light. And before you know it, your stress decreases, your mental outlook shifts, and your physical body responds. You start looking younger, not just because of your skincare routine, but because your whole life is less weighed down by negativity. Now, I'm not saying you should cut people out of your life who are struggling or dealing with difficult emotions. Life isn't always sunshine and rainbows, and we all need support during tough times. What I'm saying is that you need to be mindful of the energy you're constantly exposed to. Are the people in your life bringing you up, or are they draining you? Are they helping you become the best version of yourself, or are they holding you back? It's important to evaluate the company you keep and make sure that you're surrounding yourself with people who make you feel good, people who inspire you to grow, to live fully, and to embrace life with open arms. This is especially important as we age. As we get older, it's easy to fall into routines and stay in relationships that may not be serving us anymore. But let me tell you something. If you want to maintain your youthful energy, you need to be intentional about who you spend your time with. You need to surround yourself with people who make you feel alive, who push you to be better, and who remind you of the beauty of life. This doesn't mean you have to cut out everyone who's going through a rough patch. It just means you need to balance that out with positive influences, people who are full of life, who radiate joy and possibility, and who bring out the best in you. Now let's move on to something else that is equally powerful when it comes to staying young, not just in spirit, but in body too. Have you ever noticed how the most vibrant, youthful people are often the ones who are absolutely passionate about something? It could be their career, a hobby, a cause they care about, or even a mission they're on. There's something about people who have a deep sense of purpose that just makes them glow. It's not about being constantly busy. It's about having something in your life that makes you excited to get up every morning. Let's take a look at someone like that in your life. Maybe you know someone who's in their 50s, 60s, or beyond, but when they talk about what they're passionate about, their eyes light up, their energy shifts, and they almost seem to radiate youth. Why is that? It's because they have a sense of purpose. They're driven by something that excites them, that makes them feel alive. They have a reason to get out of bed every day, and that energy, that drive, that excitement, it shows. It shows in their face, in the way they carry themselves, and in the way they approach the world. Think about it. When you're disconnected from your purpose, when you're just going through the motions of life, you start to feel sluggish, uninspired, and yes, older. You begin to lose that spark. But when you're passionate about something, when you have a clear direction in life, you start to feel invigorated. Your body responds to that energy. You feel more vibrant, you have more enthusiasm, and you approach every challenge with the mindset of someone who's still in the prime of life. And that energy, it shows on your face. It shows in your posture. It shows in the way you interact with the world. Passion is not just about finding something you love. It's about finding something that gives your life meaning, that excites you, that makes you feel alive. It's about having a reason to keep moving forward, no matter what your age. When you have a sense of purpose, your mind stays sharp, your body stays active, and your spirit remains youthful. And you can see it. You can see it in the way someone moves, in the way they speak, and most importantly, in the way they look. When you're passionate, you look younger. You look like you're full of life, like you're just getting started. Now let's talk about the final secret to staying young, letting go of the past. I know this might sound a bit cliche, but hear me out for a second. When you hold on to the past, whether it's past mistakes, regrets, grudges, or trauma, you carry that weight with you. It doesn't just stay in your mind, it shows up in your body too. It shows up in the way you carry yourself, in your posture, in the tension in your face. You might not even realize it, but the emotional baggage you're holding onto is physically manifesting in your body. It's aging you, it's draining you. But here's the truth. The past doesn't define you. The things you've been through, the mistakes you've made, the pain you've felt, they don't have to shape who you are today. When you choose to let go of that emotional baggage, you release the tension that's been building up in your body. You let go of the stress, the anger, the sadness, and you make room for something new. And when you do that, your body responds. Your face softens. Your shoulders relax. You start to feel lighter. And yes, you start to look younger. Letting go isn't easy, but it's essential. It's about forgiving yourself, forgiving others, and choosing to live in the present. When you let go of the past, you free yourself from its grip. And in doing so, you allow yourself to truly live in the here and now. You give yourself the space to heal, to grow, and to embrace the future with open arms. And that, my friend, is one of the most powerful ways to maintain your youth, mentally, emotionally, and physically. So as you go about your day, ask yourself, who am I surrounding myself with? Am I surrounded by people who lift me up, who make me feel alive? Am I living with passion, with purpose, with curiosity? Am I holding on to the past, or am I letting it go? These are the questions that will help you unlock your true youthful potential. Because the truth is, youth isn't just about the passing of time. It's about how you choose to live, how you choose to respond to life, and how you choose to let go of the things that no longer serve you. When you make those choices, you'll find that not only do you look younger, you feel younger too. And isn't that what it's really all about? I want you to take a moment to really think about everything we've talked about so far. We've discussed how the mind has a deep influence on our bodies, how your spirit can shape the way you age, and how embracing your emotions, staying curious, and surrounding yourself with positive energy can actually slow down the physical process of aging. All of these elements are deeply connected, not just to how we look, but to how we feel about life, how we interact with it, and how we choose to live every single day. But here's the thing, none of this matters if we don't take action. We can talk about Stoic wisdom, about emotional resilience, about curiosity and purpose, but at the end of the day, you have to make the choice to apply these things to your own life. You have to decide to let go of old habits and make room for new ways of thinking, feeling, and living. It's easy to get caught up in the hustle of life, right? To get stuck in routines and fall into patterns that don't serve us, to find ourselves bogged down by stress and negativity, or to hold on to past pain that we think defines us. But what if you could choose differently? What if, instead of letting life's challenges age you, you allowed those challenges to strengthen you, to teach you, and to help you grow into a more vibrant version of yourself? It's possible. It's not just a dream. It's a choice, and it's a choice you can make today. I know life isn't always easy. We all face struggles, hardships, and moments when we feel like we've lost our spark. But it's in those very moments that we have the opportunity to rise above. The people who seem to age more gracefully, who radiate a kind of timeless vitality, aren't immune to pain. They just know how to handle it differently. They've learned how to rise again, how to keep moving forward even when life knocks them down, and most importantly, how to not let that knockback define them. They have cultivated resilience. They've allowed themselves to stay curious, to stay open, to keep learning, and to embrace each new challenge as an opportunity for growth. And you can do the same. Think about how much you've learned about yourself throughout your life, about how your mindset can shape your reality, about how the energy you put out into the world comes back to you. When we surround ourselves with people who lift us up, who challenge us to be our best, and who share the kind of positive energy that helps us grow, we naturally start to radiate that energy too. And it's in this vibrant energy that we find our true youthfulness, not because of how we look, but because of how we feel. So what's next? I'm not here to tell you to completely overhaul your life. That's not what this is about. But I am inviting you to make small shifts. To start today with one thing, a commitment to live with more curiosity, to embrace change, to find new sources of passion, and to surround yourself with people who bring light into your life. Start asking questions about the world around you. Dive into new hobbies. Find something that ignites your spirit and gives you a reason to wake up with excitement every morning. And let go of the things in your past that are holding you back, those emotional burdens that have weighed you down for far too long. Because the truth is, aging is not just about time passing. It's about how we choose to respond to the world. It's about how we choose to grow and evolve. Every day we have the chance to decide whether we will let life's challenges wear us down, or whether we will let them refine us, make us stronger and more resilient. The choice is in your hands. Here's a simple challenge for you. Over the next week, I want you to consciously think about the energy you're bringing into your life, Pay attention to who you're spending time with. Are they lifting you up, or are they draining you? Who in your life makes you feel more alive, and who brings negativity into your space? I want you to make small shifts. If you find yourself surrounded by negativity, make a conscious effort to seek out positivity. If you're not feeling excited about something, find something that reignites that spark in you. It could be something as small as trying a new activity or reading a book that challenges your thinking. Start living with more passion, more curiosity, and more openness. You have the power to change your life, and by doing so, you'll begin to see changes, not just in your emotional well-being, but in your physical health too. And when you do this, you'll find that not only do you feel better, but you start looking better too. You'll notice a lightness in your step, a sparkle in your eyes, a glow to your skin. Because the truth is, the more you live in alignment with the best version of yourself, the more that energy will radiate outward, making you look and feel youthful. Now, before you go, I want you to reflect for a moment. Think about the last time someone told you that you look younger than your age. How did it make you feel? And then think about why that is. Was it your skin? Maybe, but I'd argue that it's more than that. It's your energy. It's the way you move through life, the way you respond to challenges, the way you connect with the world around you. That's the real secret to looking younger, being fully alive, fully present, and fully engaged with life. So what are you waiting for? Your time is now. Take action. Embrace the principles we've talked about. Surround yourself with positive influences. Nurture your curiosity. Live with passion, and let go of what no longer serves you. When you do, you'll not only look younger, but you'll feel like you're living in the prime of your life. If you found this conversation valuable, if something in this message has resonated with you, I'd love for you to hit that like button. Share this with someone who could use a reminder about the power mindset, and subscribe for more content that empowers you to live your best, most vibrant life. Let me know in the comments. What's one thing you're going to do today to start feeling younger, more vibrant, and full of energy? I'd love to hear your stories. Let's keep this conversation going. Stay curious, stay passionate, and most of all, stay youthful. The best is yet to come.